YouTube.
It does some thumbnail, which is bad.
It says hold still for a thumbnail, and then it just takes a random picture.
No, it wasn't random. You were ready.
I looked at it.
You were ready for
I obeyed.
it. So Dan is all ready for his thumbnail, and I'm like...
So I changed tables. I thought this would like be part of the, you could see the table. I thought I'd just change it up, but that didn't happen.
You can't see the table?
No. All right, well, we're gonna go. I think a minute has gone by. Susan, my son is fine. Except for the fact that I don't know what's wrong. But otherwise, he's totally fine.
Do you want that light on, or are you good?
I don't know, what do you think about the shadow? Right now I'm using that power cord for this computer.
Well,
but it's 42%.
So. Your phone is probably better than the computer.
Alright, so here's what we're going to do. I actually today, I went through... it is impossible for Rachel to not look gorgeous. See?
Oh, who said that? I love her.
Gina,
she's my favorite.
Paris.
Notice I knew it was some good. Tell her that I'm going to dinner at your parents.
I actually think that way about Gina as well.
Yes, but we're going to dinner at your folks. So I actually had to do my hair.
Oh, that's nice. So this is what we're gonna do. I actually today.
Oh, and I love Sherry too. She says my hair looks cute. So good.
I went through and I did exactly what you did. I went through every single product in this deck, and I just downloaded it like you would download it. I didn't have any special access myself, so I clicked the button, I downloaded it, and I gotta tell you, I think there was $27 worth of learning in that process alone. So what I found interesting was that half of the confirmation emails went to my junk folder, and half of them went to my regular folder. So what I think I might do after this is I might go figure out which email service providers showed up in my inbox.
Because it's like our AWeber.
Yeah, if you go to the bottom, it will say powered by Mad Mimi or powered by AWeber. I want to figure that out. So I learned that, and then I think there were 14 different platforms to deliver courses. So I just thought even that concept was interesting to me, to see how some of the courses laid out, because even though you're learning the content, you should take time to learn the platforms. Like Teachable was one of the platforms that people delivered content on. Mm-hmm. And the way that the left-hand side of the screen had different video thumbnails, and when you clicked it, it opened in the whole, in 3/4 of the screen. That was totally different than some of them. So I want you to go through and think about your business in terms of, what am I going to be doing? Am I going to do a course? And then learn from all the options that you have in front of you. Go look at them. Go look at Instructable. Go look at Thinkific. Go look at Teachables. Go look at Udemy. These are all places that I just went to, downloading everything. They're all different platforms, all different ways to deliver the information. Use that as part of the learning. Now, Rachel is not going to stay.
I'm not.
I'm
but
forcing
I'm
her to leave.
really tempted to stay after Gina and Sherry's comments. They could be my little fan crowd. I love them.
I'm actually forcing her to leave because Rachel just got a big book deal.
It's a little pressure.
And she has to write a book. So this particular
50,000 words.
Yes.
Of a book.
So today when I was going over everything, as in past years you've seen that we've both gone over all the products, I told her, you know what, you got to get that book done. You do that, I'll do this. Division of labor.
It is.
We get more done for the same amount of time, but I at least wanted her to come on and say, hey.
I did. Also, today is that cool anniversary of that most viral post of ours.
To the Mom Who Is Enough, that one?
Why Being a Mom Is Enough.
Why Being a Mom Is Enough is 4 years old today, and it has 2 million
just under 2 million. Yeah,
likes.
I'm pushing it today. Yeah.
2 million likes. How do you like that? That's what got her to the book deal, I think. Because you get on that and you're like, whoa, this chick can write. And then you read the rest of them and they all have like 1 million or 100,000 or 200,000 likes on them. That's impressive.
So, you know what I think for next year's stack, actually, I was talking with a friend today about writing. And he asked me very specifically about how I write and what makes a good blog post or something. And I gave just some things that I do, and he was so appreciative of it. So I'm thinking I might write something about, once I'm done with the book, about writing in a way that compels people to read past the first paragraph.
Now, that's a good segue, because I was looking at Lena Gott's product, which was how to organize a blog with multiple topics. And I'm going to say right now that I think it was mistitled. I think it should be called something like How to Find Your Voice as a Blogger, because I read through it and she does a really good job coming from someone who's written about lots of topics. And why does she write about all of these topics? How do they intersect? How does the audience even, can they really get into my blog? So the concept of finding your own voice, which you have done, I think should be step one for you. And I think Lena Gott's product, How to Organize a Blog with Multiple Topics, is good reading if that's one thing that you're trying to figure out. Even though it's maybe not even a topic you've considered, the content on that topic is fantastic.
Well, and Sherry asked for tips on how to write faster. Just have a lot of pressure, like I do.
Oh, yes.
Nothing like pressure.
Or use a ballpoint pen.
No, I'm really bad. Like you've told me like, because my computer's busted too right now, so I'm kind of struggling. And Dan said, why don't you just write it out? And I am so slow.
Really?
Writing. Oh, I can fly with a keyboard with a working delete key. That's been the problem. I've had no delete, so I have to write perfect. So, all right. Is that what you needed?
Yeah.
Okay, there we are live, on the live. It's a
On the live.
I had it.
So you're out?
I am.
All right, goodbye. We're going to get to work now.
I'll move this over so you can, whoops.
Whoa! You're knocking over
Center
the set.
things. Sorry.
Okay. Now, did you take note, like I did, of the live events? So Tammy York's like a 25-year...
Something to drink.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Tammy York has been in PR for like 25 years, so she's going to teach us how to get the attention of the media. So that is on August 1st. You should write that down. There's like 4 things that you need to know that are live. And then Cindy Badar, now this is a webinar. So Cindy Badar is going to be talking about how to use webinars as a sales tool on August 3rd. Ingrid Owens, she is going to be talking about sales funnels. Now, what is a sales funnel? A sales funnel is you go out in the world, you get 50,000 people to show up at your website. 40,000 of them click read the next post because this is part of your funnel. You move people. Now, you had 50,000, so now you have 40,000. And then of the 40,000, like only some of them are going to say yes and put their name and email if they're going to sign up for your book or your course or whatever it is. So now it's even smaller. And then some of those people who read that and like you are going to buy the product that perhaps that you are leading people to. So that's smaller. So now we have a funnel. So that is on August 8th. And that's Ingrid. And then Neil Schaefer, the speaker of all speakers, is going to be talking about how to become an influencer on 8/17. And then, now there's already a couple of testimonials about conversations with J. Rick Robbins in Free Weekly Mastermind. So look at those. Because J. Rick and Vernon Ross are basically, J. Rick is doing 2 different calls. So you can call his team, and some people are talking with his wife, some people have been talking to him, some people have been talking to team members. I think they look at your application and figure out who's going to be the best for you. So sign up for that. Like, get a chance to go talk to them about your business. Now, J. Rick has 2 topics, strategic business direction, and then the second topic is personal performance, which goes right along with Gina Paris's book. So I would suggest reading that. So sign up for those, and sign up for Vernon Ross. Although I tell you right now, I signed up for Vernon Ross at the end of September because that was the first appointment available. So all of August and part of September have been taken. I think there's 1 more. So get on that. Toss that paper out of the way. Now, what I did was I figured out which products were truly like Startup 101. Turn your phone sideways and record yourself. Get its transfer. So I have a truly 101 list, and then I have a 200 level list. Now this is starting with Brian Lafromento. Now Brian's product I really want you to at least go see how Brian Laframento, and he's from zero to your first $10,000. I want you to go see how he has created the aura of Brian within this process. So first you go to the BC Stack download page and you click on Brian's, and then you go to his page. And I want you to look at the beauty of how targeted it is to BC Stack buyers. And then his intro video, he talks about us as buyers. Like the intro video is customized to us. So I want you to watch that, and I want you to think through how does that make you feel as a potential customer of his, and then jot notes down about that, because maybe if you like that, maybe that's the feeling that you want to recreate on your own website. And I think his is masterful. I mean, just the idea that when you get there, it's him talking on video, not very difficult, right? But I think only Isabel was the other person who had this. No, wait, Ikena had, but I don't think, maybe she'd said BC Stack purchases. Well, anyway, watch Brian's, and then Brian gives you a bonus, like right there for free. Like he's going to give you his book. You can take the PDF, or you can pay shipping to have his paperback sent to you. I just thought it was fantastic. So the second list we're going to go through is for 200 level marketers. So you're not a beginner. You don't need 101. You know what Facebook is. So that's what the 101 list is. The 201 list is, I've already made mistakes. I've been trying. I haven't made money. I've done this. I've done that, because I'm looking at Brian Laframento's course, and he's talking about web themes. And I knew immediately that's not 101, because you have to describe what is a theme to a 101 student. So Brian's is definitely 2. So that's a list we're going to go over real quick. Then I have a very advanced, like if you know what you're doing and you're making money, these are the things that I think would be best for you, and you probably don't need most of the rest. If you're a service provider, you're doing SEO for people, you're doing coaching, you're the social media person for a company, I've got this list of things that would help you. If you're discouraged, like this is your last ditch, this is the last $27 you've ever made in your life, and if you can't figure out how to do it in this product, you're out. I've got where you should start. Then we've got an author list, and I think I have 2 others. So I'm going to start with the very advanced list. Why? Because I don't think there's that many 101 students here. Maybe there are, but I don't think so. We'll get to that later. So if you're really advanced, this is what I would like you to start. This, from my opinion, this is where you should start. So the first thing would be to set up a call with Jarek and Vernon. Now, Vernon's expertise, he's an award-winning author and a podcaster. So he's kind of doing an Ask Me Anything. So I want you to, between now and the time of your call, like set it up now so it's not in 2019. I want you to start writing down questions that you have. Maybe like make it Stump Vernon. Maybe that's what we should make it. So then the next thing would be Scott Patton's video podcasting course. So the reason, and Albert Bonet's video editing course. Now, the reason that I say that if you're very advanced, that I think these 2 would be great, is because Albert is a filmmaker, and us through Craig, we asked Albert, would he make a video editing class for the Stack? Because we got all kinds of questions. Can you include a video editing class? So he created a video editing class. And he's a filmmaker. Like that's what he does. In fact, he is editing our documentary. So it's not like an internet marketer is making a video editing class. It's a video guy making a video editing class. And then Scott Patton's course on video podcasting, he doesn't do the course. Like I thought Scott was going to do the course, so I started it on Udemy, and he said, guess what? I don't really know a lot about video podcasting. That's why I too brought in a award-winning documentary director. So he's got a guest on, and as soon as you hear the guy talking, you know that it's the real deal. Like it's not for beginners. Jennifer Hensel, her class on filling events. We have been doing 30 to 50 events a year, and getting butts and seats is not a simple process in terms of how does it build your business. So I definitely want you to have that knowledge. We can get butts and seats to our events, but we can do that at a cost. So for instance, Blogging Concentrated events are $299. That is a pretty big threshold that we have to overcome for people who don't know who we are. But like when we went to Auckland, the week after our event where we had 40 people in attendance, there's a guy that comes in from Australia who fills the auditorium with like 2,000 people and everyone is free. So I want you to think about the difference between those two things. What does a free customer want to get? Do they upsell? How does that work? What's the difference between that and $300 to get in the door? What's the difference between the atmosphere of room A and room B? Like we don't let beginners come to our events because it changes the atmosphere for the advanced. Like what is a plugin? That's not a question that we answer during the day. So Jennifer's product. Ann Smarty. Ann Smarty has a system that she's going to get you into to help your social media. Now, this would also be great for service providers, but she has built a system around sharing posts. And she's got a giant network and other people are sharing your stuff. And, with the BC Stack, you get 500 credits. And I will tell you that the people who were already in Ann Smarty's Busy Bee program, I think that's what it's called. Oh, that's probably not what it's called. Viral Bee program. They bought the stack just to get the 500 credits. So I know that for them it was worth it. I think it is worth it for you to find out how that system works. Now, Gene Pimentel. Let me just tell you. Gene Pimentel's domaining class, holy moly, that is an entirely new universe. The outline to that was unbelievable to me. I thought, this is like a learning curve all by itself. So if you're at the 101, unless you plan on getting into buying and selling domain names, I think this is not the course for you. But if you bought a bunch of domain names and every month when some of them are you have to renew or not, you don't know what to do, I think you need this knowledge, because I think you can be turning the good ideas that you used to have and you bought the domain name into money instead of just letting them lapse or just letting them sit there. So then Gina Paris, she teaches elite athletes how to be more elite, how to be focused. I think that there is really no reason when you're at the very advanced level that you can't reach across the aisle to some other industry and figure out what makes that elite pitcher so focused and how do I use what he has into my business. Jen Ledbetter, her course on traffic, TNT. I haven't really seen a traffic about Bing before. How do you get traffic from Bing? There's a bunch more in there, but how do you get traffic from Bing was really interesting to me, because Bing's not going away necessarily. There's lots of people who use it. Why aren't we totally leveraging it? If you have mastered like Amazon and Google, why not take Jen's course and learn Bing? Why not? And then finally, Tanya Sutherland's outsourcing. Like, she runs the largest VA network in the world, so she teaches you how to find a VA, knows what you're doing, how to start using a VA. Like, I think that you definitely need to start thinking about, if you're not already, about that whole concept of the 4-hour work week. And then, of course, there's a class on ConvertKit, on Hootsuite, on LinkedIn, on Camtasia, and Photoshop. So if you're not an expert already, I suggest that you become one if that's something that you use, because that makes it a lot easier to know if you're getting ripped off when you outsource. It's a lot easier to explain something when you're outsourcing. It's a lot easier to understand the value of outsourcing that. So if you're using ConvertKit, Hootsuite, LinkedIn, Camtasia, Photoshop, I would take those courses. So that would be for the very advanced. Now, that's not to say that the rest of the stack isn't going to teach you a bunch of stuff, but that's where I would start if I were you. Now, if you're a service provider, we'll go there on my page of pages. There's some interesting things in here for service providers. If you're doing blogging for anyone, if you're doing social media, if you're doing SEO, if you're doing these things for people, I think that there's a bunch of stuff in here that's going to make you better. So Nicole Dean has a product that when you buy it, it basically becomes a product that you can use and sell to your clients. Like all of a sudden, you have a new product to sell. Mary Davis Strong, are these lists available somewhere? I'm going to take the lists that I made, and I'm going to send them out in an email to everyone. I'm just going to take the list that I made and send them out to you. So if that answers your question. And that email may in fact end up in the junk folder, because that's what I learned today. Half of all of them ended up in the junk folder. That's very interesting to me. I'm curious to go back and see, of all the ones that didn't end up in the junk folder, went straight to my inbox. What service provider were they using? MadMimi? Constant Contact? Aweber? ConvertKit? I'm curious to see that. So, service providers. Joanne McGowan. Now, I don't think she intended for this product to be used this way, but she has a blogging planner in the stack. All the stuff that you're going to be doing. And then it's got a section for what am I tweeting today, what am I putting on Facebook today, you know, like basically to plan out what you're doing. But I think if you're a service provider, that you use a planner for each client, and then you can keep track of what everyone's doing, even if you don't have this already. I think this is a great way to do it. Crystal Stein, there's another person. She's got a few ebooks in there. One of them is like how to make a gift guide, and I'm thinking, if you're a service provider, why don't you make making gift guide like one of the services that you offer people? Like, use Crystal Stein's book, How to Make a Gift Guide, and then make that for your clients for whatever. Like, use it as a template to make a product, and then make a gift guide one of the things that you offer as a service provider. Now, if you're a blogger, or if you have your own business, like my parents have, frontporchideas.com, like obviously you might want a gift guide, so that's there for you as well. But I thought it was particularly interesting for the service providers. And Sue, this is Facebook Live, so as soon as we're finished, it's still going to be on Free Weekly Mastermind. It's just going to be there, so you can press play whenever, tomorrow or next week. Connie Green. Now, Connie is an amazing marketer. She's been around a long time. Her product is How to Become a Local Celebrity. She became a local celebrity in 2 places that she lived. She bought a house in 2 different cities and became the person that the news goes to for certain questions. So this is how I would think that would help you gain clients. So I think as a service provider, this is probably something that you should learn. Tracy Roberts and April Lamar both have pre-written content. Pre-written content. So I just thought of one idea. So if you're going to teach your customers how to make an ebook, why don't you use pre-written content to make an ebook? And then you put in your examples, your Facebook, share on Facebook button. You put in the way you want the cover page. You put in the way you want the legal language to read. And then that becomes the ebook that you share with your clients. Like, this is what we're going to make. Here's an example. And then it's not client specific. You don't have to worry about hurting anyone's feelings because you use someone's ebook to show another client. Like, why don't you just use it that way? Like, Tracy Roberts got $37 gift certificate to her store to get PLR that you can use in a billion ways, but I thought that would be an interesting way. Nicole Dean, obviously her product was meant to be resold, so go check that out. Sarah Eggers, the web design class. Some things, in my world, if a client wants something done and it's web design related, I ask Mike to do it. No questions. I just send it over. Other things, I like knowing that I could just go in there, add a break, move the line down, and I've solved the problem. It's over. Like, just as much time as it would have taken me to send an email, I can solve the problem. So, Sarah Eggers' web design product, and then Chrissy Heron's marketing plans. All those things I think would be great if you're a service provider. And we're still talking about where should you start, what should you use. Obviously, you're going to have interests that go beyond what I'm talking about. Just giving you some ideas. Now, if you're discouraged, like Like we all are every single day at something. You really can't go wrong with Jessica Turner's class. It's really for moms. It's geared at moms, but it's got a very Marie Forleo feel to it. And then she's quite motivating. And then the other person's was Kelly McCausey. Now, I don't know if you know Kelly, but Kelly, hey Akina, but Kelly, she makes you good to be in her presence, no matter what. Like somehow she has the ability to just make you feel good about life. So her momentum intensive. Like if you're discouraged at all, she is going to take you right out of that, show you where you need to go, show you your strengths, how you find them. Like there's just nobody better. So I would definitely take that. I would start there. In fact, if you're really discouraged, I would turn this off and go get Kelly McCausey's and listen to that for the rest of this particular time period. I think that will be much more motivating for you. Then you can come back to this. All right. Now there are obviously several podcast products in here. I don't think that was hard to figure out which ones were podcasts. Mike Stewart. I don't know if you know Mike Stewart. He's got a class about how to use mobile video. The reason that Mike Stewart is in the stack is not only did I meet him at NAMS a few years ago, but just like Albert is a film director, a filmmaker, Mike Stewart is a music producer. He produced Pac-Man Fever in the 80s. Like he's the guy behind that hit song. So I wanted him, since he's been in audio and video, and he obviously has to pay very close attention to the way things sound and look to make professional quality stuff. That's why he's in it. I really wanted you to have access to some professionals, not in our internet marketing world, but actually, a music guy that does this for a living. He's going to tell you some things that you probably didn't already know. All right, let's move on. What I would like to know is, besides will there be a replay, maybe if you had a question about your particular situation, you could put that in the chat box. Like, hey, I am a, whatever. I am a coach to Aquanauts. Where should I start? That could be, if you have that question, you can put that in there and we'll tackle it. All right, the Truly 101. Truly 101. Aisha Iqbal's blogging for stay-at-home moms. I think for stay-at-home moms is the niche that she was going after, but this is really just how to get it up and going. It doesn't really have to be for stay-at-home moms. So if you're not a stay-at-home mom, you're like the opposite of that, which would be, what would be the opposite of that? Work all day grandfather? I don't know what the opposite of that is. But I think you'll get great out of that if you really have no idea what you're doing. And then if you're really 101 and you want to write a book, then Tom Knowles' course is great. It breaks down everything, including things like how do you read the stats that you get from Amazon when you're selling your book there. And then this is strange for me. Neil Christensen. Like, we love Neil. I think of Neil as like he's super advanced to me. So I assumed in the promotional materials for the stack, I talked to you about there's a triple loop autoresponder class in the stack, and to me I was thinking that's probably going to be way up there in the scale, but it's not. And I think if you're 101, it is fabulous reading because it helps you get into the mindset of what we're doing. Like, what are we trying to accomplish? And the triple loop autoresponder, if that is your first impression of what we're trying to do, I think that is an unbelievable way to start your journey. If your first impression is web design, like how to make it pretty, I don't think that you're ever going to make money, or it's going to be hard to jump out of that. But if your first impression is what Neil does, then everything you do after that is going to be geared to how do I make this business feed my family. And then, of course, Carol Tice. Now, here is a little story about Carol Tice. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this. Carol Tice accidentally sent me the Blogging 101 book that was in the stack from last year. even though it was advertised that the 201 was going to be in this year. So after this call, I am going to switch it, probably like at 6 p.m., like in 2 hours, hour and a half. I'm going to switch it from the 101 to the 201. So I'm giving you sneaky access to the 101 and the 201. You'll get both. So you go there now between now and 6 and download the 101. I'm going to switch that link at around 6 to the 201, and then you will have access to both products, 101 and 201. So there's a thread asking me where the 201 is, and it's coming. Hold your horses. It's coming. I have it. I just have to switch the link. I've been a little busy. I was in the emergency room for a while. It's ridiculous. 200 level is probably where the meat of you are. Let's start with the 200 level now. You know, I did mention books if you're an author. There are like 5 products that you just can't do without. I like Dan King's product, How to Self-Publish, because there were chapters in there like, what do you do when your sales start to decline? Like, that is an interesting chapter to me. I wanted to read that immediately, and of the 65 things in the stack, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs still open, because I was like, ooh, I'm going to read that before I close it. And that was one of them. Obviously, Tom Knowles. If you're about to be an author, I think you should also listen to Isabel. Mercier Scott. Mercier. Isabel Mercier. It's not Scott. Can't I think of the name? Mercier. I hate it when I can't think of the name. Listen to her 90 minutes. She's unbelievable branding expert. I think going into writing a book with that concept, with what she teaches, would be a beautiful way to get in there. One of the tabs that I have open is Sandra Beckwith's How to Build Book Buzz. Now, some of the stuff in there, in her How to Build Book Buzz, Turcotte, thank you, Susie. Isabel Mercier Turcotte, her YouTube video from her TEDx speech has, I think, 1 million views already. I mean, it's fantastic. The Build Book Buzz by Beckwith, Sandra Beckwith. You know, I downloaded it today, and it's a Word doc, which it should be, right? Because it's a template you're supposed to use. And I always think Word docs are funny when you get them from as a product, because it's almost like, wait, I have the original? This is editable? So that's interesting to me. So yes, it's editable. But as I was going through it, you know, there were things like how to write a book announcement press release. And I realized that while that seems elementary, when we're going to write Rachel's book announcement, I would be Googling how to do this, and I'd be looking at different ones. And there it is in a Word doc that I can edit. I thought, oh, there is real value right here. This is going to save me a bunch of time of going to search for all the different things. So that was fantastic. So that's Dan King, Tom Knowles, Isabel, Sandra, Beckwith. Where did the other book things go? Who else was looking through there and realized this would be great if you're an author? I'm looking, just making sure. Now I know there's some, like how to write an ebook, and I think that's a different concept. I really think the how to write an ebook, like Crystal Stein stuff, that's why I suggested it for the service providers, because the rest of us who write ebooks as opt-ins and as something to sell on our site, those are great, but I think for some people as service providers, I'm not sure you're thinking through, I could be offering how to make an ebook as a service. So that's why I mentioned it in that particular part. Has anyone used Simon yet to get their logo animated? And what did you think? And if you didn't like it and you emailed back, did you change it? Did you like what you got? I'd like to. I haven't seen any results from that yet. I'm eager to hear how that goes. So, Ikena Finch. Now, Dr. Finch, yeah, that's right, doctor. She has a video course about becoming a power player in social media, and I think this would also be a good one for people who are service providers, but I almost felt like if you're trying to get, I almost felt like if you're trying to become the social media person for Nabisco, or like you're trying to get into that type of job, like even if it's a small company in your town, I think that is a good place to start. And make sure some of the stuff you're just going to be like, duh, I already knew that. But other stuff is going to be like, oh, you pointed out the obvious that I've never really thought through before. That really makes a lot of sense. I'm glad that you told that to me because I never would have thought about it that way. So I think that her course would be good for you for that, because I really think you're probably not considering all the things that Dr. Finch is telling you. And that happens to be her court of expertise. So unfortunate, Rebecca. So I think that I would like you to try that. Now, I already mentioned Brian LaFermento and Lena Gott. Go to Brian's page and think about that. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't emphasize that enough. Last year, I told you to go to Isabel's page. This year, it's Brian's. If you don't sign up, I think you're silly, because the next page after you sign up is equally compelling. And then, not only does he offer you that free bonus I told you about his book, but he also tells you about an upsell, and it is a seamless, very nice offer upsell that I thought was beautifully presented, and almost wanted to say, yes, I'm going to do that, but I just happened to be busy when that upsell takes place. You know, there were more questions last year. Oh, I keep Dr. Finch. She'll be adding more and will have lifetime access. So you should put in here, Dr. Finch, who you thought would be a perfect person for that. Because if anyone on the stack, like Dr. Finch, you put who your target market is right in that comment. If anybody else on the stack knows somebody who fits this, I think you should tell them about Dr. Finch and what she does. I think she could help that person. I told you about Jennifer Ledbetter's traffic course with Bing. Mary Jack's, I almost feel like it should be in the very advanced, because Mary Jack's course, Traffic Avalanche, you know, she was our top affiliate last year. So she sold more BC Stack than anyone last year. Which means she has access to a list that she's created, and she drove a lot of traffic. So she knows, she understands traffic. Her Traffic Avalanche strategy course, I was sort of surprised. I was pleasantly surprised that it is not an overall general, hey, here's how you get traffic. It's not that at all. It is one, just like Ledbetter, it's like one specific strategy. Here's an idea. Here's how you take this idea into fruition. It would be like me creating a course on how to do the stack. Exactly the same concept for her. How do you do this one thing, and here's the traffic that results from it. This is one of those things I think you should have in your arsenal. I think you should definitely learn it for your 200 people. If you're totally at 101 level, that's not for you. There's too much 201 in it where you'd be like, I don't even know what that means. Lynette Chandler, she has this plugin gallery of plugins. A survey plugin I saw, a quiz plugin, an image pop-up plugin, all these really cool premium plugins. You get lifetime access to one of them. I don't even know what your business you're in, so I can't tell you which one you should get, but they were all very interesting. Almost like, I don't even know what they do over there at Lynette Chandler's office, but it seems like somebody just comes up with a sweet idea, and then someone else in the office makes a plugin around it. That's what it seemed like. Whoa, I got like all over plugins. I thought, oh, that's cool. That's a cool idea. So check that out, 201 people. I talked about Brian. Some people are asking about Helene Sula's hashtag directory. It is 2 products. It is a PDF that sort of ends, I would say, abruptly on page 5. And then it only ends abruptly on page 5 because there is a spreadsheet that goes that's basically like the rest of the book. But unless you're using some sort of fancy Adobe software, I'm not sure how you put a text thing and an Excel spreadsheet into one document. So when you see it, it's two things in one. And a few people have said it's not finished, but that's because there's two documents and not one document. And if you're using Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and you're interested in actually driving more traffic by getting in front of relevant people, there's a hashtag directory that I have never seen anybody cull before. And I can't imagine what it would take to cull a hashtag directory. How did this piece of paper get in here? I already talked about that. Let's get to go over there. Let's talk. I don't know how many of you are thinking about doing a podcast. I don't know. You know what? Scrap that thought. Here's where I think a lot of people are going to go wrong. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong from the start. And this is what makes Rachel extremely good at what she does. There is a bee flying around my head. I don't like bees flying around my head. And that is, I think, the very most important thing that you have to do, more important than anything else, is figuring out why you exist in the eyes of your audience. Like the concept of, I was talking about whose product was good for finding your voice. Oh, it was Lena Gott's. Why do you exist for your audience? And then how are you going to make them better? Like, that's it. And then, like, why would they relate to you? And then what do you have to say to them that would be relatable? And then if you haven't figured that out, that's before the stack. The stack is full of tactics and strategy, but you definitely need to know who you are, why you exist for your audience, what your voice is for your audience, before any of this. Because none of it matters if no one cares what you're talking about. Like, really, it doesn't matter at all. You can't get 2 million likes on a blog post if it's not relatable, right? If people aren't totally... When you read Rachel's post about why being a mom is enough, and you're a mom, and you don't think to yourself, oh, I totally have to share this with my mom. Like, she didn't do her job, right? So that needs to be first. You need to step back and figure out, all right, who am I? Why do I exist? Somebody the other day was telling me she's like 60 years old and she wants to do a lifestyle blog for people in their, older 60 year, but how is she going to relate to an audience? Because I think she's been listening to young people talk about reaching a young audience, and she's been thinking about, how do I reach and relate to this young audience when there isn't millions of people who are 60 years old reading the internet who are looking for that hero. So there is really no reason to step outside who you are. You should leverage who you are, use that to make your voice, use that to figure out what you're going to say, and then figure out how do you make these people better. Because Neil's autoresponder service, like that whole welcome email sequence, that's useless if nobody opts in, if nobody realizes, oh, you're the person for me. The reason that Neil's program is in the 101 is because I don't really want you to write a blog post without somewhere to send them to. Like, blog post number 1 is up, and they read it, and like they never return, right? I want you to have, hey, I would love to help you do A, B, and C. Put your name and email in here, and guess what spits out? Neil's welcome email, triple loop autoresponder that he's going to teach you. So you need that. That's why it's 101. But more than anything, no one's opting in until you figure out why you exist for your audience. There's really nothing more important than that. So set aside all the tactics, all the strategy. Make one person better in your audience. Like, do something. You can scale that. And if you do it with sincerity and honesty and you figure out, all right, this is the problem that we're having. Here's how you solve it. Even if it's motivation or discouragement or whatever, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be how to fix a lawnmower. Then we can use all of these tactics and strategies to bring more people to that thing, so that thing can make everyone's lives better. But until you figure that out, the rest of it's not important. All right. So, 200. Where's all these questions? Where do you all, like, toss out the questions. This man needs questions. Carla Lynn Hall. She has a 30-minute video that was direct download. It was one of the few where there wasn't an email capture. It was just totally come in and go out. And I thought it would be perfect for authors as well. If you're an author, write that down. Okay, now, Ricky Shetty. You guys know Ricky Shetty? And Scott Patton, who I already mentioned before in his video podcasting course. Ricky Shetty and I met in Toronto at Blog World? No, where did we meet? Oh, I gotta think. Blistum, Canada. And then I went out to Toronto and we did a workshop for him out there. And then we did a Blogging Concentrated out there in Vancouver. And then he decided he was gonna take his people and his kids, his family, and he's gonna travel around the world. They've been traveling for like 7 months. So him and Scott Patton. Now Scott has been traveling the world as well. They're both digital entrepreneurs, and they have a course about how to become a traveling digital entrepreneur. And I have 4 kids, and my youngest is in 3rd grade. You know, like for me, I can't wrap my head around that yet, but I know that day is gonna come. In fact, I think they said, my kids told me yesterday, they said, Dad, are you really still thinking about moving to New Zealand when we all grow up? And that is definitely the case. I would like to do that. So, outside the box, Ricky Shetty. So then that leaves us Kristen Oliphant. Kirsten starting a podcast. Ani Alexander had starting a podcast. Both of them had a little bit different take on it, which I liked. Sarah Titus. Sarah Titus has this set of books called the Honest Bloggers Bundle. And let me tell you, I had maybe 6 questions that were frequently asked for the stack. And the number 1 most often question was, which of Sarah Titus's books are going to be in the stack? That was the number 1 most asked question. And I said, you're just going to have to wait. And then I found out, oh, look, all of them, all 5 of them, the Honest Bloggers Bundle. So monetizing, it's a good 101 course. I would say beginner course. I would say it's a good beginner course, a 101 course, Honest Bloggers Bundle. But I thought that was interesting that everybody was asking what of her stuff was going to be in there. Joan Mullally. What is the product I'm going to swap out? Carol Tice. Her Blogging 101 small income, big products for her number 2 version. So, Carol Tice. Joan Mullally gave us a Periscope project. I don't know how I feel about Periscope. I need to take the course because I kind of felt like Periscope was out. But at the same time, there's still thousands of videos on Livestream every day. Livestream.com or net or whatever. That's been around forever. And somebody has an audience there. So why not have an audience on Periscope? David Anderson. David Anderson went from homeless to 6 figures. And he's going to teach you how to, these are all like the 201. This is where we're at in the 201 section. He's going to teach you how to pitch, upsell, close. Which is a very harsh term for most of us, I think. I feel like we are so against the idea of pitch, upsell, close. But at the same time, when I was in Target yesterday, I bought M&Ms right at the almond, because I love those almond M&Ms, right at the counter. I grabbed them and I put them on the conveyor belt. Not because it's clearly an upsell, like let's get them to put one more thing in the cart before they leave the store, but because it came at the right time and I was like, oh yeah, that would be great. I didn't feel upsold. I didn't feel spam or scammed. I didn't feel like it was spammy. It was just M&Ms. But clearly they're strategically placed there for a reason. So I think that you should listen to David. I think we should overcome our idea of pitch, upsell, close, and we should definitely do that because if if you are in the right frame of mind and you're a marathon coach, then it's one thing to tell people, here's your 4-week, 4 months to a 4-hour marathon plan. And then it's another thing to say, are you ready to do it under 3? I will coach you personally, the upsell. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Somebody in your audience wants to go faster. And unless you give them that opportunity, how are they ever gonna know? So I think that's worth it. And he's doing a conference in Philadelphia called BullyCon, which we're going to send an email out about. So I think you should look for that. All right, were there any courses or things that you had questions on specifically? I just signed up for Natasha Rivera's podcast editing. I'm going to have her edit the audio of the documentary part of our podcast. I want to see how that goes. I'll let you know how that goes, but I would say even if you have like a YouTube, how there's a YouTube trailer video, why don't you make your YouTube trailer and send the audio to Natasha, have her edit it, put it back in your video. Why not? Matt Astafan, I haven't mentioned him because he's the most popular product so far as download numbers. Everybody wants to learn how to use Facebook ads. If you don't want to learn how to use Facebook ads, I think you don't understand the power of Facebook ads. Because if you could spend $7 to make $100, why would you not do that? And I think the biggest hurdle is that it's hard, right? And that's the hardest thing for us as entrepreneurs, is that when we go from 0 to successful, we took the easiest path to get there. We just did all the things that we know how to do on our way there, when it would be much shorter if we just learned the things that would get us there faster. So I think that you should not only take Matt's class, but I think you should subscribe to it just to see his thank you page. Because his thank you page is like another lesson of the stack. Look at how somebody's putting this stuff together. We talked about Lynette. Trying to make sure I've at least mentioned everyone. Melissa Culbertson, who was our #1 affiliate this time. Congratulations. I don't know if you know that or not. I didn't tell her that, but she was. Melissa Culbertson has, in her class, I thought that the course layout, the way her class was designed, was a good lesson. You should just go see it take the course. But in addition, like the bonus is, yes, Sherry with a different email address. The bonus is, look how it's laid out. Because someday you might do your own course. Take notes on how all of these things are put together. Take screenshots. That's even the best. Take a screenshot so that when you're going to do a course, you can send it to your course designer if you have one and say, hey, I really like the way this one was laid out. Because maybe you'll forget that you even have this 5 years from now or 2 years from now. Kayla Amy and Robin Cockrell have the affiliate marketing. One of the cool things about Kayla Amy's class was that it actually had a pretty good list of places that you could become an affiliate. Now, I'm a big fan of typing the word affiliate program in quotes, and then the letters A and D in capital letters, capital A, capital N, capital D, and then whatever your niche is, scuba diving, so that you can find a website about scuba diving that also has an affiliate program. But Kayla has a pretty good list in her product of affiliate programs. Now, do not make this mistake. Do not become an affiliate because it pays well. I would first become an affiliate of all the things that you are using already. It's on your desk that people are going to see all the time. Like maybe this company that makes this podcast conference poster. You're like, maybe we can be an affiliate for them because I clearly like the way they made that poster. It looks great. So do not become an affiliate just because it pays well. Figure out the top 5 things that you already use, love, teach, promote, wouldn't live without, and be a marketer of those even if they don't have an affiliate program. Make your people better first, make money second. But use the programs to figure out, how do I become an effective affiliate marketer? And see what other programs are out there. In Kayla's class, see what Robin did. Robin Cockrell's, her pajama affiliates program, those people are making money all the time. Her people. They're kicking butt over there. And in fact, I think that I'm an affiliate for Pajama Affiliates because her product was in the stack, and I used my affiliate link as the download link. And then if you downloaded it, I became an affiliate. And then if you bought something from her, then I get a commission. Let me just say, I get commissions every month from stuff that people who bought the stack last year buy from her. So she's clearly selling stuff. She's doing a very good job of what she does. So I think that is worth checking out. Now, is there anybody's course that I didn't mention or where it fits? Some of these things I thought, they crossed over. Like Lena Gott's course about organizing the blog, I thought, man, that would really... did I say... Oh, you know what I didn't mention? Leslie Clavijo, What the Tech. This is a good course for 200 level people that are DIY minded. They don't really want to outsource because they feel like they could just do it themselves. And a lot of the stuff in her course I thought was elementary, but probably for one-on-one people it's not. But then there were some things in there that I thought, oh, you know what, this would help. Like, let's just say you think that your header on your blog, on your website, needs like space above it or below it. There's a section in her course about how to do that. There's a section about CSS. There were interesting tech things that I don't actually know how to do in her course. And I thought, if you're DIY minded, this would be great because you could learn a few extra things that maybe you didn't even know you didn't like. Like, for instance, if you have this is something I hate. This is my pet peeve. If you have a profile photo, and your profile photo is looking to the left, then do not use that photo if it's going to go on the left side of the page, because your face will be looking off the screen. Your pictures and photos should always be pointed into the middle. This course that I'm mentioning for the YouTube question was Leslie Clavijo's What the Tech. What the Tech. I'm sorry that I didn't answer all the questions over here. I've tried looking both places, but obviously you YouTube people know that I've been looking a lot more over here. So I'm sorry about that. All right, what else did we have? Any other questions? Did I talk about the Kindle publishing course? Yes, I did talk about that. I think that Tom's course is great for anyone who's going to put a book on Kindle, but I really thought it was great for the one-on-one class because I think he does an excellent job explaining the concepts to at a level that I think even the earliest people could understand. So I really think, if you're going to write a book, then Tom's the guy, right? And Dan King, both of those are great products. I thought Tom had a really good job at just teaching you as basic as possible. And what I thought was really interesting is Dan King's product, self-publishing, and Tom's product, let me just give you an example. Tom's product has a section in there about how to read your Amazon stats, right? In Kindle. Dan King, self-publishing, he's got a section about when sales start to decline, which I mentioned, and also another section about getting people behind your project. Both of them had really interesting chapters that I thought would totally complement each other, give you... I keep mentioning the BC Stack, bcstack.com, if you're watching on YouTube. If both of them together, I thought you would have an unbelievable knowledge of how to self-publish, because they took their knowledge and they covered slightly different topics. I was fascinated by that. In fact, I went back and forth to see how much overlap. And yeah, there's some overlap in a couple of places, but the cool stuff was so cool, it didn't really matter. No, I didn't mention Chad Fullerton. Chad Fullerton's product. So this is, to me, membership is tough. His product, when I logged into it, I really liked even the way that it came out. I loved the idea that when you logged into Chad's product, it told you what bonuses you already got for being part of the stack to his normal product. So he's like, in Chapter 8, I've added these two sections for you. In Chapter 9, I added this bonus section. Like, I already thought I won the lottery just going to that page. I think that's worth seeing. Just that concept, even from La Fermento's class, are these little bonus extras that make your audience feel good? So I like that. So he teaches you how to create a membership site. Over your shoulder, you could totally build a membership site from scratch watching his course. I don't think it's 101. In fact, I'm positive it's not 101. And I don't want 101 people, personally. I don't want you thinking about membership sites. I think a membership site is almost like a bonus for putting in the effort, for putting in the time, for putting in the years of work. You put in the time and you create a following, you create fans, you do a really good job at serving an audience. And then I think that you get the right to ask people to join a membership program and take a class with you, take a course. I think at 101, you got to do a lot of serving before you get there. And I think if you try to do a membership course right away, I think you'll end up with crickets in a forum of, just like one or two people. There are definitely examples out there that are contrary to what I just said. But I really think that membership is something that comes along the way, and it's not something that you start with. So that's what we have. My little lady has arrived. My people are in the house. It looks like I told them that I would end this at 5. I told many of you that I would end this at 5. It's 5:06. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to take all of my notes, and I'm going to put them into an email. Pretty much, I wrote down what I was going to say, so I know what section I told you they were good for. And I'm going to make that an email for you. Now, I know that you have the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet was for you to help organize the products yourself, but maybe you've already taken some of this knowledge. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put this into that spreadsheet, and then I'm going to send the link back out so that you could re-download it, maybe compare it to yours, or just use it. It's up to you. Or you could copy and paste the column that I add and put it into yours. It's up to you. So I hope it was helpful. Enjoy the day. I have to take my little lady to the birthday party next door to see Ikshu, who's our neighbor. She's the cutest little 3-year-old in the world. And then at 6 o'clock, Rachel said we're having dinner at my parents' house, apparently, which is I knew about. I did. I'm not lying. And then I'll get back tonight. I told you at 6 I would switch out Carol Tice's program. Please ask questions. Send me emails. I would love for you to ask questions of the contributors. If you like the email they sent out, what program are you using? If you like the landing page, what program are you using? Just ask questions. Make yourself smarter. This is an opportunity to learn from every phase of it. Learn from the emails they send you, the upsells, the subject lines in the emails. Learn from the landing pages that you go to. How do they get you into the course? These are all things that we're going to be doing ourselves, for our audience. So take screenshots and learn. Anyways, this is Dan and not Rachel. Look forward to talking to you guys soon.